This conference will now be recorded.
All right, so today is Tuesday, December 22nd, and as always, everything that we're going to be talking about today is for educational purposes only, and nothing is intended as any type of investment advice. So let's talk about what we got going on this morning. First thing is this JG. So one of the things that we want to notice is that what happened once we started to pull back, because the reason that we pulled back is we had two times we had really great ask prints that came in at that 650 level. So the one thing about that, excuse me, if it hit 650 once and then started pulling back, I wouldn't even expect anything out of it anymore. And the reason being is because it's pretty much been in almost money time the entire morning. But the fact that it came up the second time to hit there, this thing is still highly, highly in play. We have a lot more room. We have basically our price target here is going to be that 750 level. So what we wanted to see is what was happening when it pulled back. You could see the selling into that 6 was pretty weak. Excuse me. And almost immediately after it broke underneath that 6, you could see the amount of buying that came in. So overall, we're going to be looking basically at this point, just it's already pulled back enough. It really should be a little bit more, but I'll take it. 575 is really kind of where I was looking. 550 maybe just because of the amount of prints that it came back in there. But either way, at this point in time, a trigger to the upside is going to be our high probability trade. We have more than enough buying that's already here at that 650. They pulled it back more than enough at this point for us to be able to get back up. So trigger up and boom, we're in. Now, keep in mind, don't miss this trade because it's going to happen quickly. It's going to happen out of nowhere. So make sure that you have your orders in and you're following the trade down with your order as they're pulling this back. Because like I said, once they spark this up, chances of you being able to catch it without being ready are not very high whatsoever. Next thing looking at is CLA. So CLA, very interesting within its volume patterns. It really gets some of those bigger prints that are coming in, and then it kind of hits, it just basically almost stops trading. But if we take a look right here, 15, the print personality is not very big for a stock like this. And at certain points, it's showing us a lot going on. And really at this 15, that's a substantial amount in comparison to anything else that it's traded this morning. You can see right before that 100,000 share print, that was probably reported late because it was so far down at 1465. So somebody definitely knows something obvious. Okay, so that 15, then we also have our ballsy prints that came in at 1490, which is telling us that the time frame for the pullback isn't going to be that much. You have some 1495, a little bit more 15, but other than that, guys, basically what we're looking for is we're going to be looking for it to pull back from this 15. We know 15 plays a lot of games. Also, my one concern, if you look at what its personality of trading typically is, a lot of the time it doesn't get the volume. Now today that doesn't seem to be a problem, but this high of volume is a little bit deceiving considering that a lot of these prints have been bigger prints. You could just see the print personality, 12,000, 12,000. Okay, 16,000, 18,000. You have a lot of bigger prints, 50,000, 10,000 that are coming into this stock. So the volume is high, don't get me wrong, but the trading volume itself really isn't that high. It's, like I said, a little bit deceiving there. But either way, we have to pull underneath this 15. We know 15 is going to have gains. So best case scenario is we come down to this print line because we don't want to try to get in around the 15 where we know that market maker is sitting. So pull back right here. We have that print line, which would be work out absolutely perfect. And from there, we would look to then take our trigger back to the upside for that number 4 trade. Next thing, AMTX. So this is a stock that doesn't need to come back. This is not the same thing as what we were talking about in JG. Okay, we came back up again. He made this nice move from the buying over here, and we do have buying that's around that 450, just not as much as we'd really like to see. Now, at the end of the day, we see exactly how it showed us the first time. We get this big move up, a real extended flag before we ended up getting that trigger back to the upside. Same type of deal, but then the flag broke, got ugly. This should have been money time when instead it broke towards that downside. So two options there. Either they're selling off their shares and or they're trying to get people in to then bring it up quickly to then sell off their shares. So just keep that in mind as you're looking for this trade. If you're taking a long trade at the beginning of the market within here, just be aware that more than likely your time frame is not going to be very long whatsoever. And then HUSN. So I know it looks like nothing, looks like absolute garbage, but I like the way when it pulled up and it came up towards those highs, how the volume started to increase into those highs. And then we died out, but dying out is perfectly fine because they can just let the stock kind of float down towards that side instead of having to get rid of shares. So there is buying that's up here around that 450 level. I have no problem whatsoever with a trigger that comes out of nowhere and some really high trading volume that shows us that this thing is going to be able to break out. So definitely has a lot of potential. It is more of a sideless stock because, based off of what it's doing right now, it could just open and not trade anymore. I highly, highly doubt it, but it is possible based off the way it looks. Other than that, though, I mean, it's definitely, like I said, it does have a lot of potential sitting there. And other than that, guys, I don't see anything else out there that I'm really that interested in. Anything else out there that I missed? Anything that I missed? Piton, probably because it's too expensive. Although I didn't even look at it this morning. Well, isn't that wonderful? Absolutely. Nice call, Rich. So there's not much that I need to say here. So 161, way out of print personality. Going to need this thing to tank first. It's going to have a substantial pullback from this 161, number one trade. And then from there, we're going to look at a psychological number. 155 would be absolutely perfect to bring it down to. I mean, 160, we're still going to have to watch, but really 157.50, 155 going to be the perfect spot. So look for a 4 to come back towards there. You can see just based, it jumped up that much, this much buying that's coming in. Definitely shows their plans and what their expectations for this holiday season is going to be right there in that, because it's just such a weird time. But that is a beautiful setup, I must say. So yeah, absolutely. But once again, look for that pullback, number one, and then from there, we'll look for our number 4. Yeah, that's one hell of a show, man. When you see something like this on a stock that has range on an average of $7, my eyes light up, to be completely honest with you. This is by far my favorite stock. Great call, Rich. And here we go. Let's see. Are they refreshing? Let's wait a minute and let's see. All right. Just watch for refreshing, and I'll call it out if I see it. So we're going to start class in 5 minutes, 9:15. Link is already on your dashboards. I will talk to everybody in the chat, and happy trading.